So as you can tell by the title of our video, today's topic is pretty interesting. It's kind of like our tips and tricks of how to survive a relationship and how to maintain patience and inner peace and not kill each other, which sometimes we want to kill each other, but yeah.
Being in a relationship for 4 years, you kind of learn a lot, so
here are our tricks and like our tips to you. If you're maybe starting a relationship, maybe you're in a relationship, or maybe you're single and you want to know what a relationship would be like, here we go.
So the first point I brought up was always keep that fire burning. Whatever brought you two together, obviously there was something special there, so you want to keep that going because you can always build on that or build off that. So for example, with me and Maria, ever since I can remember, every time we'd be in the same room or whatever, we'd always be laughing together, and that's just something we love to do together, is just laugh at funny things, random things, just anything.
People,
yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
And I really agree with that one, and I think it's a really good point, because like if you forget what brought you together, like you kind of forget each other in a way. Like I know it sounds cheesy and kind of like out of the blue, I guess, but it's like,
but it's true.
If you forget why you fell in love with that person, then you kind of forget everything. So for my first point, I said don't be passive aggressive. So what I mean by this is don't be like, oh, I'm not mad, and then like be mad, you know what I mean? Like don't tell them one thing and then be another thing, just because like that sends mixed signals. And some people actually, like I know for example, I've done that with JP, and like I don't do it to be like, oh, I want to be passive aggressive today. It's just kind of like my personality.
It just happens.
And yeah, like I don't do it out of like I want to be mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll just say like, oh, I'm not mad, but I know I'm mad, but I kind of do it because like I don't want to tell him I'm mad, but I really should, because it's just like, okay, done, you're mad, let's solve it, case closed, you know, instead of like, oh, like I'm not mad, but then I'm gonna go to sleep mad,
yeah,
then I'll wake up mad, you know. So it's just kind of like, just get it all out in the open, don't be passive aggressive, be honest, and yeah.
The second point I brought up was you can never count each other's favors. Like you can't say, oh, I did this for you yesterday, you got to do this for me today, because you're in it together. You're in a relationship, so you gotta work with each other. Yeah, work together and get stuff done.
Yeah, like I really agree with that one too, because like a relationship is a two-way street, right? So you can't expect someone to work more and then the other kind of person lag behind, but then at the same time you don't want to be like, oh, so you did this for me, so I'm going to do this. I have to do this, or like so on and so forth. However, like for example, JP and I, we live like 35 minutes away from each other. So if he drives to my house and we want to go to the mall or something, his car will stay parked at my house and I will drive to the mall. Vice versa works the same thing. So if I go to his house, he'll drive us to, let's get sushi or something, whatever. It kind of works out, like it's fair. So kind of maintain a balance, but don't be like, okay, so I did this, so you did that. And like, for example, if he drives to my house 2 days in a row, it doesn't mean that I have to drive to his house 2 days in a row the next day, right? Because that's just not fair. Well, not fair, but not fair, but smart, I guess.
Because I mean, in the end, it's all gonna add up together, so
right?
It's gonna come to the same.
It's fine.
Yeah.
My second one is be patient. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Just because like you don't want to rush to conclusions about things, you also want to like let things set in your head. Like, okay, sometimes some people just go at a different speed than you do. Like not in the, oh, they're stupid or anything, and like the, I don't know, maybe I do something differently, or I drive differently. Like I don't know, it's just, no, honestly,
no,
like
I know,
those things,
I know, it's
yeah.
true, yeah.
So it's just like, be patient and kind of like remember, like it's okay to wait. It's okay to go slower. Like 5 more minutes later isn't gonna change life, yeah. Right?
I said eye contact is super important. Like when you're having a conversation with her or him. I mean, when you first went on your first date, you were making eye contact. You weren't having wandering eyes, you know, looking at the waitresses and stuff like that. You gotta make her or him feel that
respect.
Yeah, respect, and that you're paying attention to them, because I mean that's what eye contact totally means. So I mean,
yeah, like we do it with you guys. Like we're staring at the camera right now.
Yeah.
We're connecting with you. However, if we were looking at each other, that just like if a whole video was like this, like first of all, you can't even know. You don't even know if I'm talking to you. Like I could just be like, hey, right?
Yeah.
So eye contact is really important.
it's pretty key.
So make time for one another. I think that's really important
Oh, yeah.
too. Because like in today's society, most people have part-time jobs and everything, right? Like if you're done school and stuff, like you might have a full-time job, right? So I know, like for us, it's not that hard to find time for each other, just because like his work schedule, I kind of base my work schedule off of his. So because mine goes by weekly, yeah, and his is kind of like
3 months in advance.
yeah, so it's in advance, right? So we know when he's gonna working at the times he's working, so then when he's free, I can be free and we can hang out. So I think that's a pretty good way to go at it. I know a lot of people struggle with making time for each other just because they kind of prioritize differently. Like I know for me, I put him as like my higher priority over hanging out with my friends, just because maybe that's just me. Like I just have more fun. Because like for me, like hanging out with my friends is fun and all, and like I'll do it every so often, but like I just have more fun with JP, not just because he's my boyfriend, but because like he's my best friend, right? Like I know that's cheesy, but it's true, right? So it's not like I'm making myself hang out with you, it's I'm choosing to hang out with you.
Yeah, to add on to that, like when we were both in school and both working, it was extremely hard trying to find time for each other. But you just gotta fight through it and like find a way to do it, because there's always a way to do it. I mean, it seems impossible at the time, but I mean it worked out for us. It wasn't as much as we do now. It might have been 1-2 days a week that we saw each other, but I mean we were still talking on the phone and stuff like that. So I mean,
yeah, so that's something big actually.
Yeah.
When we couldn't see each other, we started talking on the phone at night. Now it's just something we kind of do every night. Not like we're on the phone for hours and hours. It's just like
a good night.
I'm ready for bed. Can you call me good night? Like that's it. Which I think is nice because you kind of like go to bed nice, ready to be tucked in.
I mean, calling and hearing the voice is more, I find, better than over text.
Yeah, like just a good night, bye.
Yeah, and a couple emojis and
bye.
Try and resolve what you like. In every relationship, it's not going to be perfect. You're always going to have something to fight about. Not that...
There's always going to be a struggle.
There's always going to be a fight. And when you fight about it the first time, if you don't resolve it then, you're going to find in the future, put it behind you because you're going to say, oh, that was stupid, whatever. But it's going to come bite you right in the butt like
a few
1 week,
later,
2 weeks, 3 months from now. So it's good to get
things off your chest.
Things off your chest and resolved right away, because it'll pay off in the end.
Yeah.
And keep you away from the same issue, because it's exhausting.
It's really exhausting fighting about the same thing over and over again. I know we struggled with that for a while, and which is what I think we've learned. And you gotta remember always that the past is in the past. You can't change your past, you can only change your present and your future. So it's important to let things go, but it's also important to not forget.
And in high school, it was extremely hard. Like, that's when we fought the most. That's when we didn't resolve our problems. Now it's pretty simple, but I think in high school we were more caught up in the high school drama and all the guys and girls.
And we were more mature, right? Like,
yeah.
We didn't really know anything. Now it's like, we graduated like in 2012, so time has passed, and it's just like, you kind of grow up and you mature and you understand why things happen and why people fight and such.
You aren't a little child anymore.
Right. Actually, this kind of ties in with my next one, and it's don't argue over little things. By little things, I mean like things that don't matter. For example, today we were arguing over what to eat. And we both get really cranky when we're hungry, so that's never really a good thing. However, like, we can get really pissed off.
Oh yeah.
Super. And it's just silly. Like, we don't need to be pissed off, you know? But it's like, just relax and laugh it off at the end. However, I think like JP and I still struggle with this, is that we'll get in a fight and then we'll laugh it off. And then we just won't talk about it again. So we kind of like don't resolve the fight. We'll just like make a joke out of it, and then it's done. But then later it can come back, which goes back to what he was saying. And then, like, you have an issue there, right? So.
Yeah, just get it resolved right away, because I mean, it's tough then, but in the future, it's going to be a lot easier for you guys.
If you talk it, yeah.
My fifth and final point is honesty is huge. That's probably one of the biggest words I can think of in a relationship. Because I mean, in high school, you hear about so much drama, like she's been with him, he's been with her at all the parties and stuff. And if you heard that about your girlfriend, you just gotta
trust.
Yeah, honesty and trust is kind of what I'm trying to get to. Like, trust is also huge. Like, no trust, you don't really have anything, because
it's really hard to build a relationship off of no trust.
You can't build a relationship off no trust.
Yeah, so you have to either understand and forgive, or you have to not forgive and move on.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, because like you're not gonna be able to start a relationship or continue a relationship if you don't forgive, and you won't be able to trust if you don't do that either.
Yeah.
So.
Because nothing's worse than not getting a text back, and your mind takes over your body and just.
Yeah, like, you could be here, you could be there. Oh my gosh, like, what's happening?
You totally get controlled by your thoughts, and then, yeah, it's...
Yeah, like, your own mind can just drive you insane, so that's never fun.
So just trust.
Yeah, so, and I think, like, what would you say is, like, a good way to build some trust? I think, like, spending time with each other is really important, just because, like, you learn, you get to know the person better, so you kind of know, like, their ins and outs.
Yeah.
And so you know, like, what bugs them, what doesn't. And I know that sounds weird, and like you wouldn't think that connects with trust, but like knowing someone, you know that they didn't do that. So you know that you can trust them when someone says, oh, like, JP was out partying last night, and it's like, I know JP, he wouldn't do that, right?
Like, well, another thing is meeting the parents or meeting the friends, because I mean, you meet the friends and you see how they are. If they're
complete party people,
then you know you
like,
have to know
maybe they were out,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So for my last one, it's don't try to change a person. So I think this is important because you don't want to try and change the way someone is. You kind of want to understand why they do the things they do. So I know there's things that I honestly can't think of off the top of my head right now, like that I'm kind of like, why does he do it this way, right? But it's like, okay, so he does it this way because maybe he feels more comfortable doing it like that. Maybe that's how he was brought up, you know? No, seriously, like, it's just things like that. So then you kind of just, like, have to shake them off, you know? Like, sometimes it bothers me when he does things that aren't my way. Not because I want you to do it my way. It's just because I, like, in my head, I'm like, well, this is more efficient. Like, I could go quicker and blah, 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 blah. So it's just, like, relax. Back to the whole be patient. Back to the whole, like, trust. Like, relationships is all of this together. So yeah, so I just say, like, don't try to change someone, understand them, understand why they do the things they do, and just kind of live with it. Like, if it's something big, like, oh, this person is a cheater and, like, just sleeps around all the time, obviously then you can't change that, you know? Like, if someone is going out, like, every night and hooking up, like, good luck trying to change it, but that's a toughie. Let us know if you do that. Yeah,
so yeah, all our points kind of tie into each other, but that's basically the gist of it. I mean, that's what's gotten me through it. That's
what's gotten us through it. Like, we're still here today. We can
going strong.
Tell you all this. So if you guys have any questions, please leave them down below. We'll be happy to answer them. Like I said, we've been together for a long time. We've seen it all, trust me.
Seen it all, totally, yeah.
Yeah, like, anything you could think of, I'm sure we went through it. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it was helpful in some way. Yeah. So, yeah. We'll see you in our next video.
Yeah, that's all for now, but...
Yeah. See you later.
We'll see you later.
Have a good night. Bye.